Welcome. This space was created for you. For the part of you that still aches, still questions, still longs to make sense of something that broke quietly. You may be here because something has ended. A relationship, a connection, a hope. And in its place is silence. A silence that can feel unbearable. But within that silence, there is a path, a way forward. Not away from pain, but into healing. Not toward forgetting, but toward remembering who you are, what you gave, and what you deserve. This is not a lecture to tell you how to feel. It is an offering to walk with you through this stillness, to breathe gently alongside your grief, and to remind you, you are not alone. You are not broken. You are becoming whole. And this choice, though it feels like absence, is the beginning of something real. Self-respect, healing, and transformation. Let's begin. The shape of what's missing. There is a moment after love ends that no one prepares you for. It's not the argument, not the goodbye, not even the loneliness. It's the silence that follows. A strange, hollow quiet where something used to be. A presence, a voice, a rhythm. And now, there's a hole. Not a dramatic wound, but a space. Like a missing center in the shape of someone you once knew. A hole in the donut of your life. The space can feel unbearable. It echoes with questions, memories, and longing. You might feel the pull to reach out. Just one more message. One more try. But instead, you've chosen silence. You've chosen no contact. And this choice, though it feels like absence, is the beginning of something real. Self-respect, healing, and transformation. Why no contact is necessary? Think back to a time when your world was entangled with someone else's. When a message from them could light up your day or unravel your peace. When a thread between you felt fragile, but you held it tighter anyway. You were present, reliable, steady, the keeper of connection. Even when it wore you down. But something changed. Maybe slowly, maybe suddenly. But one day you felt it. That you were giving more than you were receiving. More effort. More patience. more love. And so, you chose silence. You chose distance. Not because you stopped caring, but because caring had begun to cost you too much. Going no contact isn't punishment. It's not a cold wall or a cruel silence. It's a quiet boundary made of wisdom. Imagine a bell in a meadow. If rung every day, it blends into the breeze. Expected. Unnoticed. But the moment it falls silent, the air shifts. The quiet hums with meaning. You were that sound. The gentle presence. The emotional anchor they leaned on, even when they didn't acknowledge it. But now, the absence echoes louder than your voice ever did. And in that echo, something begins to stir. Reflection. Awareness. Perhaps even regret. Still, this isn't about them. It's about you. No contact allows the noise to fall away, so you can finally hear the sound of your own voice again. So you can begin to feel your own rhythm after dancing to theirs for so long. This silence is not empty. It is full of everything you've forgotten to give yourself. Emotional withdrawal and the illusion of closure. Think back to a time when your hand hovered over your phone. 1,000 thoughts racing. Just one message, you told yourself. Just one more chance to feel close again. But the truth is, you weren't reaching out for them. You were reaching for a version of yourself that felt wanted, seen, chosen. This is what emotional withdrawal does. It doesn't just make us miss the other person. It makes us miss who we were in their presence. Even if that version was always aching. There's a longing that comes after silence. Not just for their voice, but for answers. Why did it end this way? Did I matter at all? Were any of those moments real? And somewhere in your mind, there's a fantasy that plays on repeat. That if you just had one more conversation, they'd finally see what you meant. They'd finally understand. But here's the truth you already know. Closure is not something they can give you. Because if they had the words to heal you, they wouldn't have hurt you in the first place. Silence is not cruel. It is kind. Because it ends the loop. It breaks the echo of unfinished conversations. It removes the illusion that healing must come from outside of you. And yes, there will be pain. Mornings that feel heavy. Nights when you imagine they're thinking of you too. You'll dream of them. Not because your heart is wrong, but because it loved deeply. Still, every time you do not reach out, every time you feel the ache and let it pass, you reclaim a piece of yourself. You stop begging for answers. You stop chasing apologies. You stop looking for meaning in someone else's silence. Instead, you begin to ask new questions. Ones only you can answer. What did I give that was never returned? Where did I betray my own peace to stay connected? What am I finally ready to see, now that the noise is gone? This is the power of emotional distance. It hurts at first. But slowly, the fog begins to lift. And when it does, you see it wasn't just about losing them. It was about finding yourself. Reclaiming self-worth in the silence. Think back to a time when you forgot who you were, just to be loved. When you bent your boundaries like soft branches in the wind, just hoping they'd stay. There is a silence now where they used to be. But that space, that empty, aching space, is not a graveyard. It is a garden. One that is waiting to be planted, with new thoughts, new care, and your own name spoken with love. You are not lost. You are underneath the noise. And now, the quiet is beginning to clear the way. No contact may feel like you're doing nothing. But healing is happening in whispers. In the way your breath slows. In the way your heart aches less in the morning. In the way you laugh, softly, unexpectedly, and feel it reach your eyes. Each day you choose silence. Not out of pride, but out of peace. You are choosing yourself. You are teaching your nervous system that love is not tension. You are reminding your soul that attention is not the same as affection. And slowly, something shifts. You begin to wake up without the ache. You stop checking your phone. You stop imagining their return. You realize you are no longer orbiting someone else's gravity. You are standing, rooted, reclaiming. You remember how much you gave. And instead of shame, you feel pride. You see your compassion, your patience, the beauty of your efforts. And you know now that they were never wasted. Because everything you gave, you can give to yourself. And that love, turned inward, is not loneliness. It is power. Your worth is not a mirror someone else must hold. Your worth is a light that was always inside you. Let it return. Let it rise. Let the silence become your sanctuary. What once cut like glass now rests in your palm. Rounded, quiet. And the longer you hold space for yourself, the more you see clearly. You begin to stop romanticizing the good moments. You remember the unanswered messages, the disconnection, the ways you had to shrink just to keep them close. And you stop blaming yourself for staying. Because you see now, you were loyal. You were hopeful. You were doing your best with the love you had. But now, you are learning something new. How to be loyal to your peace. How to hope for yourself. How to give your love, first and foremost, to the person who stayed. You. Time is your quiet ally. Not just passing by, but tending to you in invisible ways. Let it. Let time clear the fog. Let it pull you gently from the story you are stuck in. Let it reveal what you always were. Beneath the ache. Whole. Capable. Brave. And when the ache visits you again, and it will, just breathe. Let it pass. Because that pain, it's not taking you backwards. It's part of the forward motion. Time is not your enemy. It is the space where you remember who you are. Becoming whole again. Think back to the beginning. The ache. The silence. The hollow shape of what was lost. You felt like the hole in the donut. Emptied. Cut out. Incomplete. But now, feel into this moment. The silence is no longer loud. It is calm. It is yours. You stopped reaching for answers. You stopped rewriting the past in your mind. You no longer beg the story to change. Instead, you are writing new pages. Quiet ones. Slow ones. Pages that feel like breathing. Soft, steady, alive. You've learned that closure isn't a conversation. It's a decision. And you've made it. Every day you chose silence over self-abandonment. You've cried, yes, but you've also rested. You've let the memories come and go like waves. And you've stayed. That is courage. That is transformation. The person who left may never know the journey you took. They may never see the strength it took to not reach out, to let go with love, to break the pattern and walk the harder path. But you know, and that's what matters. You no longer wait to be chosen. You choose yourself. You no longer ache to be seen. You see yourself. And the love you were pouring outward now flows inward. This isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you were before the story shifted. Before you forgot your own light in the shadow of someone else's absence. You are not the hole in the donut. You are the whole donut. A soul who loved deeply and walked away bravely and healed intentionally. So when the ache visits again, and it will, welcome it like an old friend. It only comes to show you how far you've traveled. And when they cross your mind, and they will, smile softly. Not because you want them back, but because they brought you back to yourself. This is not the end. It is the return. To peace, to strength, to you. You made it to the end. And yet, it's not the end at all. It's the beginning of something tender. Something resilient. Something sacred. You have sat with your silence, faced your ache, and reclaimed your worth, one breath at a time. You may still feel the echoes, the questions, the missing, the memories, but now you hold them differently, not as weight, but as wisdom. You are not waiting to be healed by someone else's return. You are returning to yourself, to peace, to strength, to you. Thank you for walking this path. You are never alone in the quiet. This is Internal Libraries, and this is the sound of healing.